For me, dear friends, Patriji has always been a consciousness. I really never saw him being body conscious at all. In science, we learn there is energy and matter, and then Patriji has been just that. I never understood in the logo, if you notice, there is energy, there is consciousness, and there is wisdom. Three things. It is there in the logo, PSSM logo, very prominently. Energy, consciousness, and wisdom. And he's always said every one of us are the ECW entities. He's a great, great spiritual scientist. He called himself a spiritual scientist. He said everybody practicing with him meditation and then reading those books and understanding are spiritual scientists because of just this thing. And he was that way. He was a bundle of energy. You know, he's always lived as that. If you look back, and I look back, in my entire life, he was full. Because every time you meet him, that memory is so alive. I had this fortunate opportunity to be with him since 99 when I met him first time. He's so compassionate. I had just returned from the United States and I thought I had achieved something. Because certainly I had a good technical career, having come from BITS Pilani and some of those. But however, in the first interaction, and then subsequently I learned it again and again from him. In the first interaction, he said, "You don't know anything." Yeah, on my face. He said, "You don't know anything about living life or meditation." And then didn't stop there. And then he showed a small boy and who was meditating by then and said, "Learn from him." And I was deeply hurt, but at the same time, Dr. GK, my younger brother, who was a doctor but then is also practicing meditation, as a support system, convinced me that that is Patriji as a Zen master. For them, they don't see the body in you. They are truly see you as consciousness. They want to wake you up. That's it. They want to wake you up. So he challenged me strongly in front of 100 people and said, "You don't know anything." So his intention deeply is that you will wake up sooner than later. No massaging people. It took me a little while to understand this, but the moment I understood, dear friends, I never left his hand. As recent as, I'll tell you, as recent as Patriza's, as recent as 2 months ago, and I always been in the organization PSSM, giving time and energy for various projects that he always desired, dreamed of. As recent as 2 months ago, even on one occasion, where I was talking about one master, we're talking about a group of people, and he said, "Sir, we need to get them to meditate more." Even for that, he said, "Chandra, what are you talking about? No complaint, no judgment." You know, the entire thing, dear friends, he believed truly in simplifying spirituality. No complaint, no judgment was there. From day one, you know, in the hallways of PSSM, you'll always hear this: no complaint, no judgment, no matter what it is. No matter what situation. Because that statement, if you translate, it is the moment you stop doing that, the moment, because then we become one with other people, dear friends. When you complain, when you judge of somebody, then we are putting a special value to yourself. Rather than telling oneness, rather than telling wholeness, you become one. He said, "No complaint, judgment." Then automatically we are becoming one with others. I thought 20 years later I could say a few words, because I thought somebody else is not doing something. What he's saying is, no complaint, no judgment. You accept them as they are. You continue to work with them. Because Patriji, in several occasions, he said, everybody is right. His approach to people in approaching everybody equally. Sagar sir said equanimous. Everyone is equal. For him, no difference at all. On stage, off stage, we have seen it. And so, approach is equal, so everybody is right. He never kept a single person aside and said, because of him or her, things are not happening, so leave it aside. No. But, you know, when you are an energy, when you're consciousness, his true teaching is we're all gods. We're all consciousness. So, every one of us have to be that way. Everyone would have some talent, and so, dear friends, I saw him personally grooming people like me, working with anybody and everybody, giving them some opportunity to work, and then being able to extract the best from them. As soon as I understood his core simple teachings, the one thing I liked with Patriji is that the moment I came and I heard this, you have to solve your challenges with your own strength. Nobody is going to come and then help. And if anybody would come to him for a solution, and you would know it. If you are coming like another Baba, another Guruji, that you go to him for a solution, no. So you will not get an answer that way. He would go back and then say, you go and read, you go and do your practice, you go and then get to know about it from your own meditation strength. And so I really loved, and then, he said, we cannot make people parasites on us. They have to be on their own. We as individuals, we can give tools to people to learn and then know more about themselves. So I really loved this concept that we have to solve our challenge by our own self. That is big in PSSM. That is big. And then nowhere else that I've seen where, of course, there are some masters who are perfectly aligned to spiritual science, but so greatly, so vastly, even if we went to a villager or to anybody, then the answer is same. If you've not been sincere enough, if you've not been serious enough about your practice, then the answer is different. You need to sit down and meditate. You need to sit down and meditate so that you can find your own solution. So you find one solution, you find second, third, then you're on your own. And then you're no longer dependent on others. And then you are living truly as an individual consciousness. So Patriji was, dear friends, to me, a living consciousness, and then we knew it. If there is anybody, and then I have not seen that extemporaneously talking about any subject, he was wisdom. There is said Prajnanam Brahma. Prajnanam Brahma means, you had this, the knowledge, wisdom is Brahma. What wisdom? Prajnanam. The highest amount of wisdom is Brahma. And then he was that. He was that. Now quantum physics is demonstrating that everything is energy, that energy is intelligence, which is consciousness, and that energy has wisdom deeply ingrained at high frequency. And to me, Patriji has been that way. Because, you see, he was so spontaneous. You would just access it. You won't believe that we will do conferences. Patriji sir would not even know what his topic is. What is going to speak on. We would put a topic in the schedule, and then until the last minute, you will not even come and ask, what am I going to speak? He will not ask. Neither does he plan. Nor does he suggest what somebody should be speaking. Because he believes that if you are consciousness, then the right thing will come through you at that moment. So if nobody gave him anything just for that purpose, during that conference time, he would just look at and say some paper somewhere he will see, and he'll know what the topic is. If at all he looked at it, but then it will come to him. He was so spontaneous. He was a Sufi, he was a mystic. Mystics are spontaneous. They are just flowing at that moment. How many times you have seen him that, suddenly he'll speak and then he'll sing. He'll get up and then, make everybody, do some hand waving and all of that. It's just spontaneous. Spontaneity is the hallmark of a mystic. And then he was like that. So he's always seen everybody as living consciousness, dear friend. So Patriji to us, and then to me personally, is just not gone anywhere. I mean, that video was so simple. He said, don't over-attach any extra significance for death or samadhi. They're all the same. It's just a choice. People were asking me after he vacated his body, a transition to the higher planes. Did SARS take samadhi? Did he tell you before? Did he do that? That video is sufficient. It is like a decision you make. It was that simple, because every second word from Patriji was about death and then no death. We knew it. His teaching was centered around it. Because that is the biggest fear that we all had. And then if he could remove that fear, then life would be just so flowing. That's really how he worked on. So, dear friends, for me personally, yes, there is a physical great friend, great philosopher. I mean, to me, he was a spiritual father. I shared everything. He's not there, But however, and then he's been preparing many of us that have been working in the movement for at least now over 2 years through various messages and through various things where he pushed us to make our own decisions, particularly in the last 6 months. In the last 6 months, making us to take decisions by ourselves than to keep getting validations from him, and he was preparing in many ways us. And in PSSM, he gave a project to everyone because he believed that everyone is individually there and everyone had the consciousness, everyone could take decisions and then had their own interests. So everyone has a project in some way or the other. And everything is his brainchild. Buddha Seva Quantum Foundation is his brainchild. And Saga has talked about so many management principles. And so the management principles that no testing, start small. Sir gave a concept. He said, you should dream big. That's how things start. Pyramid Valley Project, my first encounter with him in the 2003. We wrote a brochure. First time. We acquired land, about 5 acres land. Here is a forest, 2003. We wrote a brochure. And then in June, there is a function happening about, first Prana Pratishta, land initiation there. So we wrote a brochure and took it to him and said, sir, this project, approximately, that time Paul Vijayakumar was the managing trustee. He had a lot of vision. So we both were here, locally in Bangalore. And so I had the opportunity to write a brochure with Paul's ideas. And then I went to him and said, this project seems to cost about 14 to 15 crores. But we don't have any money, sir. So how does it work? Because I just come into that moment that then came into meditation. So he said, okay, so no money, but that's not where it starts. Do you have intent? Do you have sankalpa? Do you have vision? He said, if you have vision and if you have sankalpa and if you have dreams about it, it's going to happen. And truly, we needed to spend about 14 to 15 crores then to build this project. And then he said, if you have vision and sankalpa, it's going to happen. I said, okay. And in fact, he went to the next sector and said, money is one of the many elements. It's incidental. So all you need is first is the vision and sankalpa. And then friends, I have to happy to say that just the way he said it, to date, we spent over 60 crores in this project and then still continues to expand because you are attracted right people, right resources. Sri Shreyansh Dagaji came in. Many people came in and helped because of that single vision. Patriji, Leadbeater is a spiritual master, a great spiritual scientist from Theosophical Society, talks about Parama Gurus, are those gurus who are beyond gurus, Parama Gurus. And then I have every reason to believe that he is a Parama Guru because, Parama Gurus their consciousness is everywhere. I've heard when meditators share that they get vision of Mahathar Babaji in their dreams, in their meditation experiences. And I also heard equally worldwide that many meditators, when they meditate, they see visions of Patriji. They talk to him, they see him in their dreams, they see him in their meditation experiences everywhere. That means a master is present in multiple places. He was like that. So many people in their experiences share that Sar came in my dream. Sar was telling me something. And I saw him here. And the second key capability of Parama Guru is to touch and then lift the consciousness enormously of many people. Many people felt they're very, very close to Patriji. Shalini feels as close as I feel, as Saga feels, as Shreyansh feels, as Vani feels, as Girija Madam feels. Everybody feels they're just so close to him. Same level of closeness. That's the characteristic of a Parama Guru that Leadbeater writes. That he lifts the consciousness that everyone feels they are just directly working with him so closely. And there are many qualities, dear friends, compassion. And so many things that we truly think that his Grand Master is a Parama Guru who is there, who touched, who lived as consciousness. And then personally, I'm very, very fortunate that I got this opportunity to be walking with him. And I tell you, when we do service, and then I took the service in the year 2002 just to be spending that close time with him and other masters. And I got much more than that. When we do service and we're working, in one of the occasions, I asked him, sir, what is the best way to strengthen your practice? And he said, be in the company of masters. be in the company of masters, then that is the best way to strengthen your practice. If you want to strengthen, and be there. And so, dear friends, and this is PSS movement is an opportunity to serve and then continue to grow ourselves, because there are so many people. It taught us to be humble, and then you will not believe that if there is anyone new watching, and then there are every pyramid master who has been walking, you know it if you start talking to him. And I was speaking to someone who's running a small canteen. Someone who's running a small canteen. Last 2 days, I had the opportunity to interact in Hyderabad. And when he opened up, he was talking, there's so much science. Like somebody is running a small tea stall. He's talking about science. He's talking about how he's living his life. He's dreaming of building a pyramid center or a meditation center where he wanted to give that food and then give meditation. So going forward, dear friends, I truly believe that Sar has created clearly many masters. You know, a Paramaguru, a guru or a master is recognized when many people, many masters will continue to teach the teachings, and that's what is done. During the lockdown, we had hundreds and hundreds of teachers from PSS movement are teaching in their own style. You know, the reason PSSM did not have a course, a structure, and say level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, and then Sar never directly associated for a long time is because he believed that spirituality is an individual path. We all heard there are infinite paths. What does it mean? He didn't want to slot it and say this is a step A, B, C, D, because then it would mean conditioning. It's not one size fits all. Spirituality is where we all have our own paths to take. And so he always allowed it that way. He gave meditation. He referred every book possible. He attached us to so many masters and said, okay, this master, that master experience, keep listening. And so then you take what is important, what you really like, resonate, and then go around with that path. So that is how in PSSM, that Patriji's spirituality that he truly believed and he enabled, even though it is a massive organization, everybody can find their way. You know, some want an astral travel. Some want only, you know, mind control. Some want energy. Some want to see their past lives. Some want to go and then talk to masters on other planets. There are many paths. And whatever that you resonate, whatever is your level of consciousness, you have a path in it. So going forward, dear friends, that I believe is created so many masters that, you know, we continue to be inspired and do it. And then personally for me, when people ask me, do you miss? And my answer is that I like said, he's there. He's a consciousness. When you are deeply connected to your work, in one of the answers he said, if you're connected to your work, madam, to one madam, he said, you connect to your work, your service work, you do it, and I'm there with you in that. So that work that we are doing, the project of Pyramid Valley or Buddha CU or any work that one does, like in PMC Valley, that Chandru and Shani so beautifully do it, it's a project has energy, it's consciousness, he's there in it. Every project, there are masters there, not only visible, but then invisible masters are there, their energy is there. So you connect into it, and then you are feeling this energy in the form of a decision, in the form of an insight, in the form of an extra energy boost, whatever that is. But he's there. So that's my answer, that no, he's constantly there, and we connect in with ourselves through meditation when we empty ourselves. And so automatically we connect. So many more things, dear friends, and to share and talk about over a period, we will do it. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you, Patriji, for giving such a beautiful opportunity to be here with you. And we get rare opportunities to be walking. And I used to think about Yogananda Paramahamsaji or Shirdi Sai Babaji. They had many of these masters, living masters in this century. And then to me, Patriji is one grand master like that. That we had the opportunity to walk, meet, and then interact, and then, you know, learn from him. In meditation, I want to close this. In India, after Gautama Buddha, Patanjali Yoga Maharshi, Patanjali, and then Adi Shankaracharya did enormous amount of service about meditation. They brought meditation out to the foreground, and then they talked about it significantly. Then we hear about Swami Dayananda a little bit, and then Vivekanandaji a little bit. He had a short life, Vivekanandaji. But to me, Patriji will be remembered as the next grand master like Patanjali or Adi Shankaracharya, who talked about meditation, promoted and lived forever. He'll be like that, he'll be remembered. I'm very sure there'll be books about him. People refer him for meditation, that everything that is done for the meditation. Thank you.